Khalistani terrorists. Posters have been released by Sikhs for Justice, which is a terror organization led by Gurpatwant Singh Pannoon, and this banned terror outfit has once again crossed all lines of any decency. Now, the posters that they've put out depict Indira Gandhi's bodyguards targeting our Prime Minister and also the Canadian Foreign Minister Anita Anand. Now, this is nothing but a case of outright threats and these Khalistanis brazening it out in the UK. It also marks a glorification of the assassination and an attempt to recreate the violence of 1984 in political symbolism. This imagery is, of course, part of Khalistani propaganda designed to instigate hate, to intimidate Indian diplomats, and also mock the murder of a former Prime Minister. In Ottawa, Canada's Public Safety Minister, Gary Anand Sangar, has also posted a statement condemning the incident. However, SFJ has not been named in that condemnation. So this is even when a Canadian Foreign Minister, Anita Anand, has been targeted in that poster. We'll of course wait and see as to whether or not there's a formal investigation launched by the Canadian authorities into this development. Let me get a perspective from Bhavtosh on this. Bhavtosh, not for the first time has there been a provocation of this nature on the part of the Sikhs for Justice outfit, which is a terror outfit. And while Canadians or the Canadian government continue to be accused of giving Khalistani elements a free run, this time the Sikhs for Justice organization has made the Canadian Foreign Minister a target of their hate. Take us through the details.
Yes, Siddharth. In fact, as India's relationship with Canada improves, the new target of Sikh for Justice, which is a banned terror outfit, is Canadian Foreign Minister Anita Anand. And we have seen that there have been a wave of protest and, in fact, a speech that has been laid outside India's Ambassador Patnaik's residence. And the latest figure who has been on target of Sikh for Justice, a terror organization which is banned by India, is Anita Anand. Now, what they have done is that they have superimposed Anita Anand's image with that of Indira Gandhi. In fact, we have accessed those photographs as well as video. This has been going on for at least past 8 to 10 days at various places, including at outside the India's ambassador's residence and also at other public places. This has happened. In fact, one very macabre image that has been posted by them is that the bodyguards of Indira Gandhi shooting at Anita Anand and also at other public figures and political figures. Now, this is clearly a very dangerous trend that has happened. In fact, Sikh for Justice are openly threatening Anita Anand. Now, the latest development that has happened as far as this case is concerned is that the Minister of Public Safety has condemned this. He has not named Sikh for Justice, but he has said that action will be taken against them. As we all know, Siddharth, that Sikh for Justice has direct links with another terror outfit which is banned, is Babar Khalsa International, whose two key figures who are designated terrorists are also in fact fugitive and are presently hiding in Canada.
And Bhavtosh, Canada has been routinely criticized for not cracking down on Khalistani elements within its territory, even though Khalistanis have been responsible for one of the worst terror attacks in aviation history, and we're talking about the Kanishka bombing, AI-182, that took place in 1985. And despite that, the Canadian authorities over time have been accused of turning a blind eye to these kind of activities that are also targeting India. Now that the Canadian Foreign Minister has been made a target of the hate on the part of these Khalistani outfits, can we expect the Canadian authorities now to take this much more seriously and crack down on these elements? Because this is something that India has been constantly appealing the Canadians to do.
Yes, Siddharth, in fact, way back in 1985 itself, we have seen the Kanishka bombing incident, in which it is probably the worst aviation terror attack incident, in which over 300 people died when Khalistani terrorists planted the bomb. And then subsequent investigation, we have seen the manner in which this investigation was handled by the Canadian police and security agencies, in which the key accused were virtually let off. And then we have seen how Canadian security agencies have allowed allowed the mushrooming of various terror outfits in Canada. It was only belatedly that after Trudeau administration was removed, that some action has been taken. For the first time, they did mention that Khalsa International has been receiving funds from various outfits presently who are there in Canada. One hopes that the fact that Anita Anand is presently being openly being threatened will be a wake-up call for them. But as we have already said, that though the minister had put out a post condemning this incident, he has not named the Sikh for justice, and they have been openly threatening our diplomat. They have openly laying a siege of our ambassador's residence.
And not only that, Bhavtosh, in fact, the Indian High Commissioner to Canada did very clearly say that it's a travesty that in a country like Canada, a person like him needs an armed escort. That's one of the things he mentioned during the course of one of the interviews that he'd given to a channel there. And Anita Anand was in India as well in the month of October, where she met Dr. S. Jaishankar, and both of them released a joint statement pledging commitment to the sovereignty and integrity of each other's territories. And that clearly is also a message to Khalistanis who, of course, are campaigning for the secession of the state of Punjab from India. But India expects more in terms of commitment on the part of the Canadians to crack down on these elements and also walk the talk. Because while there is now a renewed engagement between India and Canada after Justin Trudeau resigned as the Canadian Prime Minister, now there's a new Prime Minister in place, we're still waiting to see some tangible results as a part of this renewed engagement in terms of a crackdown on Khalistanis.
Yes, Siddharth. In fact, we did provide them with intelligence information and also other details about at least two designated terrorists. One of them is Arshdeep Dalla as well as Lakbir Singh Ladda. Arshdeep Dalla was briefly arrested in November 2024. India did ask for his deportation. He, in fact, escaped from India on a fake passport, but nothing happened.
Bhavtosh, I'm sorry, I just need to interrupt you for a moment because we're also getting a strategic affairs perspective on this. Patikrit Pine, I beg your pardon, joins us on the phone line. Good morning to you, Mr. Pine. What do you have to say about this latest provocation that's come from Khalistani elements, including the Sikhs for Justice? They put out posters targeting not just Prime Minister Modi, but also Anita Anand, the Foreign Minister of Canada who was in India recently. Do you think this will now prompt the Canadian authorities to intensify efforts in terms of cracking down on Khalistani elements, or will we see a repeat of what happened during the Trudeau tenure?
Well, it's a very big question mark, and it will be a test of the pudding as to whether the Canadian authorities do act or not. You see, even before the Trudeau became the Prime Minister of Canada, there was a phase when Khalistanis had literally had a free run in Canada. So I think it has been an institutional support that has, permeated through governments or regimes in Canada. So right now, even as the relations are improving, it will be interesting to see what the Canadians do. And what I think the Khalistanis are trying to do is to wedge a divide between Canadian Hindus of Indian origin vis-a-vis the white Canadian. And they're saying that probably the Hindus are not, acceptable or welcome, Anita Anand being one of them. So I think, these kind of things brazenly being done openly, where they are showing Indian heads of state as terrorists and all of that, what they're doing, cannot happen unless there is a deep support from somewhere within the establishment itself. Now, whether Canada is in a position to take step against those elements within the establishment who give them monetary, financial, legal, and other support is a big question mark. These elements do have power and may also have extra territorial support from across the border. We do know that organizations do get, of PANU is getting support from United States as well. So it's a test of pudding whether the Canadian authorities do take action or not. But it would have an impact on Indo-Canadian relationship if no action is taken.
All right, Mr. Pine, thank you very much for your perspective on this, and also Bhavtosh for filling us in with all the details.